So I
Mm.
think if you take that to an emotional level, can be an incredibly powerful question.
Yeah.
What price are you willing to pay for that change? Because I think, you know, we all like the sound of change, but the reality of change is messy and difficult, and and it's a process, and you have to go through it. You can't force it through. The change happens in its own time frame, and so I think, yeah, ¿cuál es el peaje? What's the toll? What are you prepared to pay
Wow,
to
interesting.
make that happen?
Well, what are you prepared to pay to make it
Well,
happen?
I've given up security. I've given up
Yeah.
financial security. I've given up a kind of role with meaning and with responsibility. I've had to change my children's education. Um, and I'm stepping into a completely unknown world. I'm having to give up mastery, if you like. So I'd got
Mm,
to a level where I was working at a very high level because I've been doing something for so long. And now I'm right back at the beginning, and I'm like taking baby steps and making mistakes. And so
mm,
definitely mastery I've had to give up. Um, and I think, um, there's definitely some kind of something around, humility, or just accepting where I'm at with things, or letting go of control of this process, that, you know, being open to what will unfold, and allowing that to
yeah.
happen, rather than trying to engineer everything. And as you know, in education, it's an incredibly controlled environment,
Mm,
and high pressure environment. It's beautiful, and there's some real, like,
mm,
genuine emotional connection, but it's a very different environment to what I'm moving into.
yeah. So you decided to make a change in your life. You got to that moment where you'd been in a career that you didn't necessarily hate, but you didn't feel it was aligned to you, and you decided to make take the next step. For many people listening, they want to do the same, but there are pressures in the real world. You're a father of how many children?
Two children.
2
Yeah.
children, you
Mm.
have a wife, you have
Yeah.
responsibilities, financial responsibilities. I'm sure that often is one of the factors that stops people from making that change. And
Yeah.
I know from speaking to people, at that point in their life, it's very scary to take that leap of faith,
Yeah.
especially when you're not sure, when you don't have that stability of an income or a wage. And especially if you've got a mortgage, because a lot of people, they bought a home and they've got a huge amount of debt and
Hmm.
financial responsibilities. What would you say to people that are in that situation? And, I'm sure you felt those challenges yourself.
Yeah. I mean, within that context. I have planned everything carefully to work out how much cushion I have, what the
Mhm.
numbers are. I mean, there is a flip side to that as well. If you're in a wage job, often there's a ceiling on what you can earn, and I think it's as much a shift in mentality. Um, I've paid a lot of money to train. I paid a lot of money to coaches per hour, per course, um, and I've done that happily and thought, that's fantastic. But I, I, I'm, I can understand how the thought of not having the stability is intimidating. But there's also another space in which there is more abundance from investing your time and your energy in yourself. How you bridge that gap between one and the other, I guess, is an individual question for each set of
Mm,
circumstances. In my case, I'd worked hard for 20 years and been quite prudent, and my wife works as well. And I think within a partnership, there can be more stability. I think the difficult thing for me is I'm giving up a safe job in the south of Spain, where there's not a lot of employment in that area anyway.
mm,
So I'm kind of stepping into more of an online international space, and looking to kind of work between the international in Spain, Spanish in Spain, UK based, and then whatever else is out there. So
yeah.
the potential is enormous, but
Mm,
it's quite hard to. I think sometimes you just have to get out your own way.
mm,
Don't be the no. Don't be the reason why you're not doing something. And ultimately, for me, the difficulty of looking back and not having tried it was more painful to think about than all of the things I was going to have to change to make the change.